So welcome back Year 11s after the Easter holidays. In this video I'm going to be talking you through what the project is that we have set you with, but also the structure of how it all works and what you can expect to achieve in your first week of online learning with us. Now I'm hoping that this project is going to be something that you'll all really enjoy getting stuck into and something that you will look forward to completing week by week. So essentially what we're asking of you is to create a chandelier out of everyday objects that you'll have in and around the home. The image that we've got on the slide in front of us is quite an interesting one. So it's all made out of recycled objects, and as you can just about pick out from the picture, they have been little plastic discs that have either been cut out to circular shapes or to spherical shapes, and quite a lot of them are actually taken straight out of sunglasses, so the lenses from the sunglasses, and then they have obviously been strung up to create a chandelier type of product. Now the thing that I think is particularly interesting with this product is obviously the upcycling element, so using materials that would have necessarily just been thrown away, but also the actual colours that the light emits. So obviously you've got lots of different shades of plastic there, which will give the overall sort of tone of the product, or the tone of the light that is emitted, quite a nice warm glow to it. But obviously you've also got the little gaps in between each of the discs that is going to let a certain amount of light out, which will create some sort of patterns on the wall as well. So you'll have access to this document, so I won't go through it word by word. You can read through it in your own time, but I'll pick out some of the key things from this introduction page. So what we're really looking for with this project is to go beyond the predictable. So please don't come out with a generic solution. And we want you to think a little bit outside the box, to think creatively into how you can actually create your chandelier. And it could be anything. So think about unusual pathways and come up with very inventive ideas or solutions to this brief. Now, this project is going to be run a little bit differently to the setup that you're used to at GCSE, where everything was kind of categorised to you. This is what you do here, and this is what you do for your next step. What we want you to do for this is to be very much student-led, so free learn where possible, but also to take your project on a route that you see fit. And that is going to very much depend on the design that you come out with, but also the materials that you are going to use. Obviously, we are mindful of the fact that you don't have access to all of the tools and equipment that you would do should you have been doing this in the normal D&T environment. So you will have to be quite resourceful in that sense as well, and be aware of what you have to hand in order to actually create this product. So how does it all work? So you'll each be assigned a mentor. This mentor will most likely be your teacher from Year 11, although some of you will be assigned a different member of the department just because of the numbers. And that mentor will check in with you on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis, depending on the timetable allocation. Your mentor will also issue with an online PowerPoint. Lots of you use this for your GCSE, so it should be something that is quite familiar to you. And this is where all of your information or all of your research will be stored. Your mentor is there to provide individual feedback, to help you with your ideas, to help generate ideas, but also to guide you and steer you in the right direction with your product, or your project, I should say. So just like you did with your GCSE, any sketch pages or any supplementary pages that you have produced will obviously need to be either scanned in, or you'll need to take a photograph of those to drop those onto your PowerPoint so that we can provide you with feedback. But please just make sure that if you are taking photos, make sure that they are high quality photos. Try not to get the shadow of the phone in the shot, and make sure that the photo is in focus, of course. So at the end of each lesson, obviously you're working on PowerPoint online, so it should automatically save, but just make sure that it has been updated before you quit. And your deadlines for this project are going to be set weekly. So we'll distribute the work at the beginning of the week, and each Friday you must make sure that everything that you have done so far is on your PowerPoint by 4 p.m. If not, then that is where we'll obviously log that through daily report. And just to reiterate, you are encouraged to work independently and to take this in the direction that you see most appropriate. But something I do want to stress is that there is no right or wrong way to tackle this project. So some of you might talk to one another outside of the lesson time and find that you're doing very different things, and that is fine. Please don't be put off by that. Before we move on, I just want to read an interesting quote to you, and I'll let you think about this in your own time to see what it actually means to you. But all of the best ideas come out of the process. They come out of the work itself. So have a little think about that and see what that actually means with you and how it resonates with you. So we've broken this project down into different sections. Section 1 is all about collecting to inspire. So what can you gather from primary and secondary resources that is going to help inspire you to create your product? So starting off with the first task, and it's a good idea to read through this PowerPoint again, highlight online any key areas or keywords that stand out to you just to focus your ideas a little bit more, because it will help you with this next task, which is to begin brainstorming some ideas for your chandelier. So very much like you began your GCSE project by creating some mind maps, this is what we want you to do here. So on this mind map, be as open as possible, be as broad as possible, with as many different things that you can think of that might help inspire you later down the line. Now, obviously this is based around upcycling, so you must make sure that you have got sort of mention of different products that you've got around the house or the garage or the garden or whatever it might be that you have access to that you could actually upcycle and use for your product. So one idea to get you started, you might have a lot of cereal boxes lying around. So cereal boxes I could mention on my mind map, but then I could also then say what I could actually do to those cereal boxes to create a chandelier, whether that might be folding them in an intricate way or maybe cutting certain sections out and then folding them so light gets emitted from certain parts of the little cereal box, or it might just be something as simple as cutting the cereal box into some different shapes and then hanging those shapes from the chandelier. So come up with lots and lots of different possibilities and see what you come up with. Once you've finished your mind map, we would like you to then create a mood board. Now you might want to create a separate mood board, or you might want to put some of those images straight onto your mind map, and that is fine, but we must make sure that we've got at least 30 images. So those images are really, really key to help inspire you when you come onto your drawing tasks, which will begin next week. So if, going back to the cereal box example, if you've got those cereal boxes, take some photos of those, drop those onto your mind map so that we know that we've got those to hand. If you don't have anything in and around the house that you can think of at the minute, you might want to go and have a look online for some more inspiration. It might not necessarily be of everyday objects, but a good starting point would be to look at natural forms, because they have such an interesting and a variety of different shapes, forms, colours and textures. So have a look at the images that we've got on the right hand side of this PowerPoint, just to give you a little bit of inspiration as well. Some really interesting things to think about whilst you're going through this whole process of the mind map and image gathering is to think about how the light is going to be emitted from the chandelier. So similar to what I talked about on the first slide that you saw, but also how the light is emitted off different surfaces. So think about whether the surface is matte or reflective, or maybe it's shiny. What difference will that have on the light that is given off? Some materials might let more or less light through the material, so that might be quite interesting. But what does that actually do to the overall tone or the mood that the light sets also? Essentially what we're trying to get you to do here is to really think about as many different possible solutions and ideas creatively, but also quite inventively, if that's a word, to just come up with the best possible solution. Hopefully by the end of this lesson you will have been able to create your mind map and also to have started gathering your mood board together. So ideally you would have collected and collated 2 pages worth of information that you can fill into your online PowerPoint. Good luck, boys.